If you're a parent or someone who loves a child who is struggling in school, and you've said some things like this: my child is so smart, this kid is brilliant, why is school such a struggle? You're not alone. I hear versions of this all the time. My kid understands everything when we talk about it, but they can never show it on paper. My kid is doing great at school, but when they get home, homework turns into a huge meltdown. My child is starting to say things like, I'm so dumb. Why can't I get this? And the hardest part of all of this is it doesn't make any sense. You know when a child is capable, their teachers are saying they're doing fine, but at home, it just feels like everything is way harder than it should be. Hey, I'm Kylie Larsen, founder of 4011 Learning, where we help capable kids who are struggling feel confident and successful at school. If the scenarios I just described feel all too relatable to you, I want you to know this. It has nothing to do with your child's effort or intelligence, and it's not your failure as a parent. One of the biggest misunderstandings I see is an idea that a child that is smart and capable should think school is easy and schoolwork is easy. But school doesn't actually measure understanding as much as it measures the output that a child can produce. It measures things like how fast a child can work, how well they can organize their thinking, how much they can hold in their brains at once. It measures what they can show, but it doesn't always measure what they actually know. A lot of kids understand far more than they're able to demonstrate. So when parents say, I don't get why this is so hard for them, what they're really noticing is a disconnect, a mismatch. It's not a deficit. In my work, I look through different lenses when I'm examining the struggles of a child. I look at things like their mindset, the methods they're using, and their management system. Mindset is how a child sees themselves as a learner. Methods are how they're being asked to learn or how they're being asked to show their learning. And management really is how much they're expected to juggle at once and the systems they're using to try to juggle it all. Most struggling students, they don't need to be pushed harder. They just need one of these three things to make a shift, to become more doable, to become easier. So, if we talk about mindset, that's where things can get a little tender. When kids struggle consistently, they don't just struggle with skills, they struggle with their identity. They struggle with their identity as a learner. I hear kids say things like, I'm stupid. I'm so dumb. Why can't I get this? I hear my own kids say things like that. I know that it's heartbreaking to hear. I've heard things like, what's wrong with me? And parents often want to fix that by reassuring their child. They want to say things like, no, you're so smart. You can do anything. Here, I'll help you. We just need to try a little harder. But there's a problem with that. Kids are the best truth connectors. And the truth is, we can't do anything right away. It takes time. The truth is, trying harder does not always mean success. Sometimes these attempts at reassurance can even make kids feel worse. Think about it. How often have you felt terrible about something and someone just gave you an empty, cliche response to it? It doesn't make you feel better. It doesn't match the experience that you're having at the time. So, what actually builds confidence in kids is clarity, consistency. It's naming the struggle accurately. This is hard because your brain is trying to do a lot of things at once. This doesn't mean you aren't smart. It just means that the way we're trying to do it is not working yet. Confidence grows more when kids feel understood and they're not feeling pressured. When we look at methods, this is actually where I see the biggest light bulb moments for parents. Homework meltdowns are rarely about a child's motivation or about them being defiant. Homework meltdowns are about cognitive load. It's about just being asked to do too much at once and maybe doing it when you're tired. Let's think about writing, for example. Writing a response to a simple question requires a child to do a lot of things. They have to come up with ideas, they have to organize their ideas, they have to remember the steps to writing a good paragraph. Then they have to physically write or type all of this out. And while they're doing that, they're trying to hold all of these things in their working memory. So when parents say he knows the answers but freezes when he has to put them on paper, or when they say things like writing for my kid is just torture, it actually makes sense. Many kids can explain their ideas beautifully out loud, but when they're asked to write, it's like everything collapses. It doesn't mean they don't understand. It means the task they're asked to do, the methods they're using to do it combined are just creating a block to them even being able to think or move forward. So we can make super small shifts to fix this issue. Number one, talk about ideas before doing any writing. And you can actually just talk the ideas out without doing any writing. If you can take that writing pressure out, it'll give a child just a sigh of relief. And who's to say if your kid's at home with you doing homework that it's against the rules for you to take a little Post-it note and jot down the ideas that they give you while they're giving them to you? They're still going through the process. I love doing this, taking Post-it notes, jotting the ideas down, and then the child can move them around for the organization phase. And you're taking a lot of that pre-writing stress off of them. You're separating the stages where they're thinking from the stages where they're having to handwrite or type, which can just create a lot of stress. You're reducing the amount required for them to do without reducing them doing the thinking part. When their method changes, effort often improves just on its own. When they can take a deep breath and know that it's going to be a little bit easier, then they're going to be more motivated to continue. Now, management. Management is another huge piece of success in school and success in life in general. Again, I go back to the thought about working memory. Working memory is kind of like your mental whiteboard, and some people's whiteboards are easily jumbled or get overloaded, and it causes them a lot of stress. So if teachers or parents say things like, they forget everything, I just told them this, I'm so exhausted from having to repeat myself. Again, that is normally not defiance, it's overload. More reminders don't actually solve this problem, they just increase pressure. What helps more than reminders are supports, and these are really easy to create and provide for kids. Visual checklists, clear, short directions, giving them fewer steps to do at a time. Instead of asking kids to remember everything, we just build in these really easy systems that actually do the remembering for them. It's not lowering expectations, it's just making success possible for them. Many parents feel stuck because they're told your child's doing fine, your child is on grade level, but something just still feels wrong. There's still a tension there, and the parent doesn't really understand where that tension is. Well, on grade level is a huge, wide range. Some kids might be compensating. Some kids might be exhausted, but they're quiet and they're producing outputs. Some kids are doing okay academically, but emotionally they are stressed and falling apart. And teachers usually see the performance at school and the output. But parents at home, that's the kid's safe place. And that's where parents and families are going to see the cost of some of that stress and struggle with school. So just remember, advocating for your child, it doesn't mean that you're being confrontational. I'm going to give you a few helpful questions that will get more information from your child's teacher about what your child is experiencing as a learner. So you can ask things like, how independent is my child with this? Is this 80? Is that completely on their own, or is that with a partner or getting some support from the teacher? How independently can they do this? How much effort does this take my child to do? Does it seem to be effort similar to their peers, or are they having to work much harder to pull this off than their classmates? Or is it much easier to pull off for them than their classmates? You're not being difficult. You're just being an attentive parent that is gathering information so that you can be more helpful for your student. If you've been listening to this and you're still in that place of tension and guilt and uncertainty, am I failing my child? Am I doing the right thing? I want you to know that I understand. I am in these situations right now with my own children and trying to figure out what is the right thing to do for them. You're not alone. This struggle doesn't mean that something's broken. It just means that something needs to move, shift, or change a little bit just to make this whole process easier. Kids don't need more pressure, and parents don't need more guilt or things on their to-do list. We need safety, we need clarity, and we need tools that match how our children learn and do things. This is what real support looks like. And when support is right, learning feels lighter. You can take that sigh of relief. It's not heavy anymore. As a parent, again, I'm navigating all these questions myself. There are moments when I feel like I don't have an answer, only a deep desire to protect my child's confidence, my child's self identity, while helping them grow. The tension is something that many parents carry quietly. And if that's you, you're not behind. You are paying attention. You're exactly the kind of parent your child needs. The fact that you're listening to this is evidence of that. So if this resonates with you, if this feels like you, and you simply want a chance to talk through what's going on and what you're seeing, you want a chance to ask questions, you want a chance to try to figure out some of this with someone else instead of trying to do it alone, you can book a free consultation with me, and I would be happy to sit down and just let you process some of this, maybe give you some insight from my experience, maybe see if I'm a good fit to help you and your child. You can book that free consultation by going to www.40-11-learning.com. You don't have to figure this out alone. I'm Kylie Larsen. I'm here to help. And as always, live and let learn.